Good morning, you wonderful people. I am super excited because this is my first ever day in the life in Paris. And I'm going to be spending this glorious Saturday soloing around Paris, sharing with you what it's been like living in Paris, working as a trainee corporate lawyer in another country, and just sharing what I do at the weekend to balance, relaxing, resetting ahead of another busy week at work, and getting stuff done in my businesses, so with YouTube and Menos. So it's been a seriously long week at work, so I have a bit of a lie and wake up around 9:30, 10 and send Beth a good morning message, and then spend a good half an hour scrolling through Reels, TikTok, because I'm going to try and produce some Reels and some TikToks for my personal channel and also for Menos. So it's research, right? Well, once that productivity stint is over, I then jump to action watching an episode of The Circle Series 4 till around 11. But you know, this is probably one of the most productive things I could have done. I needed some time to relax, to reset. Watching TV can be hugely productive if it's what you need right now in order to chill out and let yourself recharge a bit. So don't ever feel bad for doing that. To counterbalance this very lazy morning and the fact that I've been eating and drinking out a lot recently, Paris life, I'm gonna go on a little run to start the weekend that just makes me feel a little bit better about myself, to be honest. Plus an amazing way to see the amazing Paris that I'm growing to really love and soak it all up. My top tip, if you're trying to get into running or just get back into running, having kind of got out of it like I had, I have really been starting to try running less quickly than I normally would. I run comfortably slower than I can physically run so that I can go for a little bit longer and just enjoy it more, listening to cool podcasts that I find interesting, mainly e-commerce, like business nerdy podcasts at the moment. But yeah, just making that run much more enjoyable rather than I press on through for 15 minutes and then I'm dead and never want to do again. Run over, I head to my favourite patisserie in my neighbourhood, which is the 17th arrondissement of Paris. So pretty, everything looks so good, I want it all. So it's a glorious day in Paris, and I have been on my quick run, just heading to my little park, my little local park thing that's in the middle of the road, to have my coffee and my croissant aux amandes, which is a new discovery for me. I hadn't previously, ventured away from the traditional croissant or pain au chocolat, but croissant aux amandes. Apparently they do them at Gale's in the UK, but I've never ventured that far. So that, for me, was, alas, a French discovery. I don't think it actually is, but, when in Paris, you gotta try out the full range of patisserie. Now, time for a seat. I take 20 minutes to just enjoy my pretty decent coffee, people watch, and breathe, and also eat my delicious almond croissant. Things have been just insanely busy at work the last week. Weekends have been really full with people visiting all the time, which has been so amazing. But honestly, it feels good to just have some time to myself. AirPods in, listening to my feel-good playlist of old upbeat classics. After a little chill to myself while I'm out in glorious Paris, I decided to just FaceTime my mum. I haven't spoken to her in a couple of weeks, and it's so lovely to catch up. So, welcome to my Paris pad. For those of you who are new here who have not watched my Moving to Paris vlog, which you of course should. This is my lovely apartment in Paris, and excuse the washing, that right there may have been there since Tuesday. It's now Saturday. Probably dry by now, but it's been a busy week. I haven't made a huge number of changes. My Menos over there, my desk chair, my desk setup over there, I'm very happy with for working from home, which I usually do once or twice a week. One thing I did actually legit want to talk about in this video was that before I moved to Paris, I made a video about life update, how I was feeling about moving away from Beth, and it was I genuinely was quite emotional at that point, felt like I was leaving my family and Beth, and that it was going to be really hard moving away from kind of my really established life in London, even for 6 months. It's still quite a long time, and I wanted to share a little nugget of wisdom that I've been thinking about a lot over the last few weeks about dealing with loneliness, being on your own, and also sort of like post-COVID meeting people. So the first thing is, in order to avoid loneliness, if you ever move to a new city on your own, one key. Find yourself some lovely houseplants who are as good company as my lovely Bertrand and Jean-Baptiste. Tip number 2, after that nugget of wisdom, is seriously, I feel like when I was in London, like after COVID, everyone had have gone a little bit back into their shells. Like certainly I was in my routine, I'm in my job, I was happy with like my family, my friends, and I think I'd lost a little bit of that willingness to be like, oh yeah, randomly, like spontaneously, it's a Tuesday evening, I've finished work a little bit earlier than I thought I would. Let's go for a drink with this random person from work. And I think I kind of got into like a bit more of my shell. Like I had this sort of like insular life that had been built during COVID. Like we'd remembered the most important things of family and friends and spending time with those people. But I think I'd really lost like a bit of a sense of adventure, and coming here has really forced me to meet new people. Like I've had no choice because I know like very few people here in Paris. And that has actually been amazing. I've made some really good friends here. I've been pushed out of my comfort zone. I've had to do that. So if there's one like little nugget of wisdom you take away from watching this video, which has just been something I've thought about recently, get out of your comfort zone. Even if you haven't moved to a new city, start actually being like, yeah, you know what, it's a Friday evening. Yes, I'm really tired. Yes, I'd like to go home and lie in bed and watch The Circle, which is a perfectly valid thing to do from time to time. But actually this week, you know what, I'm really gonna put myself out there. I'm gonna ask people in the office if they wanna go for drinks because I'd like to meet some new people. I'd like to put myself out there and build connections with people. We're fundamentally like social beings as humans, right? I'm pretty introverted. I love spending time on my own. Like today, I'm probably not going to see another person. Great. But actually, overall, being social and making those connections with people is really magical. And you never know, like you could make new, really, really close friends by putting yourself out there that little bit more. So yeah, that's my little nugget of wisdom. And now it is time, because I am a little smelly, to prendre une douche. I felt like the front of my hair was starting to look a little bit poofy, so you know, I've just tried to cut it down a little bit. I think it's gone okay. So post-douche, I tidy up the mess that is my flat and pop to what is known in France as le pressing, which is basically where they will kindly iron my shirts as I've run out and don't want to spend all afternoon ironing. It's a bit of a privileged thing to do, but for me it's about prioritization, and if you can afford it, I do highly recommend outsourcing this sort of thing. Give me one sec. Actually gonna go and get a glass of water. Alrighty, so before we go on with the rest of my day, I want to really quickly tell you about something that's really, really important to me and that I think will be hugely important to all of you. It's an action that I started recently that I think we should all be doing as much as we possibly can, and that is offsetting our personal carbon emissions. Now, I've been looking for ages for a trustworthy platform where I could offset my carbon emissions easily and straightforwardly, and basically just knowing that those things, the carbon that I was offsetting was really actually going to the right places and being properly tracked by a good organization. And that is where today's sponsor, Ren, comes in. I am super excited to have Ren on as a sponsor, as this is something that is so important to all of us. Ren is a super cool website that lets you calculate your rough carbon footprint by answering a few simple lifestyle questions. It then gives you tips on how to reduce your carbon footprint and also allows you to make monthly contributions to offset the remainder of your carbon footprint. These offsets are across a diverse mix of carbon reduction and offsetting projects. And one of the greatest struggles in this area, as I've already mentioned, is knowing that your money is really going to the right place. So Ren has monitoring plans to make sure that all of its projects are having the impact that's promised. And tons of these amazing projects don't just have environmental benefits, they also have this kind of intersectionality with other societal benefits. So for example, alleviating poverty. There is an incredible project in Uganda. It's called the Clean Cooking fuel project providing cook stoves to refugees in Uganda. This project not only prevents deforestation and reduces cooking emissions, it also improves the quality of life of Ugandan refugees and reduces their chances of lung damage. Clearly, our planet really needs our help right now, and it's something that is hugely important, I know, to me and to all of my audience. And so I think we should obviously need to try to reduce and change our ways of consuming and behaving, but offsetting is also a part of a potential solution to our current environmental crisis. So yeah, if you want to start offsetting your carbon emissions, you can join me over on Ren, and the first 100 people who sign up to Ren via the link at the top of my description will get an extra 10 trees planted in their names. Alrighty, let's do this. Happy that we all now know what we can do to do our little bit for the environment. I unpack my laptop and keyboard that's in my hashtag Team Grey, whoop whoop, Menos backpack that's still full from work yesterday, and sit down with my bowl of fruit and get to work. So I have just sat down to get on with some work with my delicious bowl of fruit. And yeah, my eating like a bit weird today, but it's fine, not stressing. It's like 1:30 p.m. and I've felt a little bit behind because I've been crazily busy at work this last week. Working in Paris has been amazing, and so far I haven't had to work like crazily hard, but over the last couple of weeks things have really hotted up, and last week was really intense, so I have felt a bit behind. I've let everything slip, as you can see, like messy in the house and just generally not on top of things. So I'm gonna first of all take like probably an hour now to, as you guys know, I'm a huge Trello fan. By the way, if you haven't, you should check out my course on Skillshare on how I use Trello to organize my life and get everything in order. But I'm basically gonna follow my own advice and start to organize videos that I have coming up, including this one, like the thumbnail that I need to shoot for this, getting everything that I have going on in my life at the moment, as well as Menos and actual corporate law work, all organized in Trello. So I feel a bit more on top of stuff because I felt a little bit overwhelmed. And then once I have organized my Trello, got back on top of things, really made clear what my priorities are and set a clear list of priorities for myself over the next week. Then once my entire life is in order, I will begin working on Menos, and I'm super excited about this. So for those of you like who have been either living under a rock or just generally not watching my videos or not paying much attention to what I'm saying, which is obviously deeply upsetting, I'm rambling. You anyway may not know or may know that Beth and I have decided to start a company called We Are Menos. We have been through this like whole sample process with our backpacks that we've been getting ready to launch, and we now have 600 of them in a warehouse in South Wales in the UK. We have a website that we're going to be releasing this week. We're kind of ready to go. So I'm just gonna be doing a final few checks and tweaks, sorting some like marketing stuff moving into next week before we launch, like this coming week. So by the time this video is out, Menos will have launched. So you can go to wearemenos.com and see if we still have any bags in stock to buy one, or you can wait until we next get more stock and sign up. But yeah, super excited. Like I'll do a more in-depth video about what it's taken to take an idea, which was my idea of having a backpack made from recycled materials as much as possible, that looked super sleek and minimalist, didn't have loads of like outside pockets and stuff, like avoiding that trekking, or even like some of the nicer looking backpacks that have like loads of pockets and stuff on the outside. Very minimalist, but also keeping the functionality, so having stuff like 180-degree opening. Basically how I took that idea from just being an idea in my head that I thought, hey, it'd be cool to make like a reasonably priced, sustainable as possible backpack and brand, into now actually having a product that we have in a warehouse ready to sell. Another video, but that is what I'm going to be getting on with. So yeah, better get cracking. Alrighty, so I've made pretty good progress. Now it is time, now that I've done that, to go and relax in the sun for an hour. I want to scoot my way, I love e-scooters, scoot my way down to by the Eiffel Tower. Perfect spot for a little bit, I reckon half an hour to an hour of just reading, watching the sun set, like chilling out. Yeah, let's do this. We're off on our way to go and find a sweet reading spot. So yeah, I will be showing you the wonders of Paris at this glorious hour, like dusk in Paris, actually is sick. It's so beautiful. Yes, get ready for me to try to film on an e-scooter. Not as dangerous as it sounds. I have a device. I'm taking my book as I have not really been reading that much at all recently. So I'm keen to get back into it, and I'm thinking I'm gonna set myself a challenge to do 30 days of reading where I read for at least 15 minutes a day, minimum. I think it's a good challenge to set, so let's see how that goes. I made it to my spot, but I will admit that e-scootering while filming was not my best idea. It was like attached to the scooter, so I had both hands, it was very safe, but alas the microphone came off and I had to come to quite an emergency stop. So I decided actually, after some very bumpy footage, which you will have just seen for a moment, it was not a good idea. But hey, I found my spot. Gonna chill here, read my book a little bit, just soak in all of the people that are here. I mean, it's great to see so many people, like post-COVID, so many people here. It's a pretty sweet spot, so soak it in. Then come back, make myself some dinner, a little bit of chill. See, that is my attempt at pro chopping. I just don't know how they do it. So Chef Liam is in the building, currently frying off a little bit of poulet before I add in some courgette and some mushroom. Then I'm gonna add in a little herbe de Provence, and then some lemon juice, some fresh jus de citron. And then we will cuisson some of the lardon. I must admit, okay, so before I come to France, I was trying not to eat red meat. I'm not gonna lie, I've fallen completely off that wagon while I've been here. I am trying to cut down my intake as much as I can. There is so much red meat here, and I have, again, sinned. Sorry planet, sorry Greta. But I promise I will get back on that once I'm back in the UK. It's just so hard in France. Whew. So, we've made it. Dinner is served. I'm not gonna lie, so I sit on the sofa to have dinner, but I don't have a thing to rest on my lap, and so if I try and use a knife at the same time, I just generally spill stuff everywhere all over the sofa. So I like cut it up like a child over on the table and then bring it here and just eat it with a fork, watching TV. I hope you've enjoyed this day with me, Liam in Paris. More to come soon. Let me know if you have any things you particularly want to see me doing in Paris, within reason, and I will speak to you again very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching.